For Georgia Now News, I'm Jenna Eason. Recent rains have officially brought Georgia out of a severe drought, and farmers are looking ahead to the fall harvest. Dry conditions have heavily affected farmers in Georgia for nearly a year, but the National Weather Service recently announced that Georgia's drought is officially over. Local farmers were hit hard by the dry spell. Brandy Whitney of Sandby Farm says they had to irrigate their fields constantly.
So we had to irrigate day almost all the way through until the nighttime. I would go home and eat, and then I would come back in the evening time to turn everything off. So yeah, it was a long period of just rotational. Every day we would have to do that.
When the rains finally did come, the ground was too hard to absorb the water properly, causing flooding in fields and additional crop loss.
There was such compacted soil that when it rained, it didn't have anywhere to go. So we had a lot of flooding in our field area.
However, Whitney says she believes they made it through the worst.
So we're really excited. For us, the fall is the greatest time of the year. It's the longest producing on this farm for us. So we're just hoping for a steadier rain and just so that we don't have to irrigate so much. Our plants are healthy and strong in the ground. They're not having to be stressed by the heat or the lack of water from rain and that sort of thing.
Farmers with livestock are also seeing the benefits from the summer rains, producing green pastures and more natural pasture growth for their grazing herds. A joint study committee of the Georgia General Assembly met Thursday to discuss the state's foster care system amid rising costs. The Joint Study Committee on Evaluating Escalating Costs in Georgia's Foster Care System was created to review the system, services, and costs of those services. State Senator Kay Kirkpatrick is the co-chair of the committee. She opened the meeting on Thursday saying the committee is the third of its kind in the past 3 years to examine these challenges. However, it is the first joint committee on the issue.
We know that the cost of out-of-home care services has increased by 159% since 2022. We also know that other states are dealing with similar increases in costs. The mismatch in costs versus appropriated funds last year resulted in an unexpected budget deficit for DHS, which was covered by the General Assembly. And we know that increased costs are impacted by many variables and that we need to understand these in order to avoid future deficits while still providing needed services.
Georgia's Division of Family and Children's Services reported an $85 million shortfall in its budget. The head of the agency said the deficit is due to a combination of reduced or delayed federal funds, increasing demand for the foster care system, and increased operational costs, and resulted in the reduction or elimination of certain services. When Governor Brian Kemp made an additional $300 million cut to the state budget to account for the cut in income taxes, $600,000 was taken from clothing and supplies for foster children. Wayne Noggle is a foster father and founder of Families for Families. He says he thinks local communities will need to fill the gap that the state is leaving.
I think it's a really good time for our communities to step in, whether it's churches or communities or social organizations, because, not everyone can foster, but everybody can buy a backpack. Everyone can help out with school clothes, and, everyone can help get a notebook and paper and pencils for kids.
Noggle says that in 2019, Georgia had about 7,500 foster homes. Today, that number has dropped to 4,500. The committee plans to have its next meeting on September 17th. Jackson County Schools canceled classes Friday after multiple campuses received anonymous, computer-generated bomb threats. The district said they initially delayed the start of the school day, but after determining that it would take more time for officials to clear all the buildings, school officials decided to cancel classes for the day. The Associated Press reports that Flock Safety announced Thursday that it will make changes to its platform to address privacy concerns and documented abuses of its system. The Atlanta-based surveillance technology company recently came under increased scrutiny over multiple cases of alleged abuses of its systems. Flock cameras capture license plate data and other vehicle characteristics and are largely used by law enforcement agencies to inform investigations. Among the changes the company plans to make is making optional guardrails mandatory. One of them will require law enforcement customers to implement an audit tool to flag abnormal search behavior. That's what's happening in Georgia now. For news anytime, check out our website at heregeorgianow.com. You can also download our app from the App Store or the Google Play Store. And to stay up to date on our content across all our platforms, follow us on Instagram at Here Georgia Now and Facebook at Georgia Now. I'm Jenna Eason.